What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 267. And the backlog from hell continues to shrink. It's almost the backlog from, heck. Now, it's really, I am knocking games off my backlog at a fantastic speed. And another one this week, we're talking about the winner of July's Patreon poll, and that is Wario Land 4 for the GBA. And as longtime listeners of this show probably know, my Game Boy Advance resume is about as impressive as my real-life resume. I have very little experience with Nintendo's advanced Game Boy, and it's not because I think it sucks or anything like that. Frankly, I think the thing is fucking awesome. It just came out in an era of my life where I was frosting my tips and crushing Smirnoff Ice. I wish that wasn't true, but it fucking is. And I wasn't playing a ton of video games. So, and you know, it's like, well, it's kind of sad that I missed out on the GBA in its prime. It's nice that I have such an incredible library of games that I can go back and experience for the first time. One of the cool things about this show is I get messages from people being like, oh, I never really played a lot of Super Nintendo and now I am, or Sega Genesis, or Nintendo 64, whatever, insert your retro console of choice here. That's me with the GBA, and it's been awesome. Like in the past couple of years, I've played Advance Wars, The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, Metroid Fusion, all have episodes here in the Remember the Game archives, and all were awesome. Not the episodes, but the games themselves. And now I can officially add Wario Land 4 to the list of those games, like I said, that not only has an episode of Remember the Game, but is awesome. Because this is a great fucking little game. I'm a huge fan of Wario, the character, and I haven't played a ton of his games aside from the sports games, the Mario parties, the Mario Karts, etc. I played Super Mario Land 3, the original Wario Land on the Game Boy. I've played a couple of the WarioWare games, and they're fine, but I'm a platformer fan at heart. That's what I want. And after playing Wario Land 4, my friends, I have to ask, why the fuck aren't we getting more Wario games? I'm officially putting the universe on notice. I'm using my powers to will games into existence to bring a new Wario Land game into reality, and I won't rest until it happens. Or I go to bed. One or the other. My guest this week is the Waluigi to my Wario, my pal Bradley McCue. And we both pretty much agreed that we liked 90% of this game. And we were almost on entirely the same page with stuff that bothered us, too. We liked a couple of different levels on each other and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we both agreed this game does not suck. And we'll get there in just a minute because speaking of stuff that does not suck, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard and consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long, but they're fun. They're a lot of fun. And there's 24% less flatulence in our intro than when Wario is around. So 20-ish% anyways. If you do want to skip the intro, if you just want to talk Wario Land 4, go to about the 30-minute mark. We'll get into the talk. You'll have an hour of Wario talk there. I recommend giving the intro a shot, though. We talk about video games and stuff. It's a lot of fun. I do have to get my plugs out of the way. It's how we keep the bills on. And I have a new one. Listen, I have a new one. I'm on Cameo now. I know. I don't know how the fuck it happened either. I have no idea how I convinced them to let me on there. But cameo.com/Adam Blank. Hit me up. I'm willing to roast somebody for you, say something nice to somebody for you. Molly will make an appearance if you want. I can't believe I'm on Cameo. Shit. Anyways, we have merchandise. We have hoodies, t-shirts, coffee mugs, posters, all kinds of stuff, rocking incredible art designed by my man Joe from 4545creative.com. You can find our merch at rememberthegamepodcast.com if you're interested. Great way to support the show. And of course, if you don't like clothes, I get it. It's winter. Who needs clothes anyways? It's almost winter. Here in Edmonton, it's starting to feel like winter. You can always just support us on Patreon, which is finally available on Spotify. Every Patreon podcast, if you sign up for our Spotify or our Patreon, you can listen to them all on Spotify now. Thank fuck. And we offer up to 4 additional shows a week. Every Monday, Purple Monkey Dishwasher, Mark McHugh and I are talking Simpsons. It's a really good time. Every Tuesday, it's The Rambling Idiot, where I talk about my comedy career, TV, movies, sports, life, whatever I feel like talking about. Every Friday, it's Game Patch. It's my modern gaming news show, where I talk about the biggest stories in gaming, new releases, etc. And every Thursday, it's Expansion Pass, which is a different gaming show each week. We look back at characters, consoles, genres, franchises. We do tons of rankings. There's some comedy episodes, ton of modern game reviews over there. This past week, it was Expansion Pass 180. There's 180 episodes of Expansion Pass waiting for you in the archives. Ad-free. That's ridiculous. It was episode 180 this past week, and the topic was up to our Patreons. And the biggest pieces of shit in gaming was the pick. So we talk characters, developers, personalities, content creators. I came up, and as is becoming tradition, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass, the biggest pieces of shit in gaming. Speaking of toxic gamers, the next person on my list is a real-life person. Some of you have heard me talk about him in the past before, and if you don't know who he is, you're about to fucking know. Adam Blank still has interviewed Mario Galaxy, was one of a few that wrote in and said, I'm very excited for the DSP rant that will be included in this episode. Dark Side Phil. This monstrously cunty piece of shit is the most toxic fucking cesspool of a human being in the gaming world right now. He, at least not as far as like game developers, but as far as gamers. If you have no idea who he is, and I'm sure a few of you don't, he is okay, so I'll give you the quick, I've become obsessed with this man over the past 3 years. I make fun of Shaylee because she watches stuff like Love Island and Big Brother, and I don't watch those shows, so I'm always giving her a hard time about these, trashy TV shows. DSP is my trashy TV. I watch, there must be 40 YouTube channels dedicated to making highlight videos out of this piece of shit, and about what an asshole he is and all the things he does, and I watch them religiously. And that's now available in our archives. And this week, it's Expansion Pass 181. It's October, so I thought to kick the month off, it'd be fun to talk scary games. And I've only really gotten into them over the past few years, and I have a whole bunch that I still want to get to. So this week, we're going to look at the scary games that are still stuck in our backlogs, on our backlogs, whatever the term would be. The scary games we still want to get to. So again, subscriptions start at just $3 a month. You get new podcasts ad-free every week, instant access to hundreds of ad-free archive bonus podcasts. Plus, you can join our Discord. You get the chance to vote in our Patreon poll every month. You get the ability to submit comments for all of our shows. You can DM with me, and you even get a shout out. You get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to most of these people. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons. There's some doozies in this one. Sisyphus, Daniel, I think I got that one right. Brandon Alaman, 3 big words Adam can't say. There's a lot more than 3. JC Ice, Max Offline, Wilco, Son of J78, Kim Brew Slice, VOS Rager, Derek Karen. I hope I said that right. Mr. Vampire. That sounds like a canceled children's show. Ian Lippert and Connor Hughes. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries, patreon.com/rememberthegame. Don't forget, 5% of our income gets donated to charity, which, on that note, our 4th annual 24-hour marathon extra life stream, I had to remember what it was, to raise money for the Stollery Children's Hospital here in Edmonton is going down this November 3rd and 4th, the Friday, November 3rd, Saturday, November 4th. I'm splitting it into 2 12-hour shifts. I'll have more information in the coming days. Just keep an eye on my social media, but I hope you can come by, maybe throw a couple of bucks at the kids. I do some giveaways and stuff, and it's a good fucking time. So that's coming up November 3rd and 4th over on Twitch. And you can find me over there regularly, twitch.tv/rememberthegame. All right, that's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Soda Popinski, my arch fucking nemesis, who said, hey, Adam, I know there's this big hype, I guess you can call it, about all these Marvel games coming out like Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. And don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on them. But in your opinion, what other Marvel heroes do you feel or think should get a game or are overdue for one? I honestly think the Punisher is due. The last time he had one was back on the PS2. I will say it. Spider-Man 2, I cannot fucking wait for. That's my most anticipated game, period. Wolverine, I'm probably going to play it, but Wolverine is not my favorite. I don't like Wolverine. I know, and I'm Canadian, and I should like him. I don't hate him, I guess, but I just I don't know. Fucking calm the fuck down. But anyways, so yes, I am excited for those games. Punisher would be kind of neat. If I could pick any Marvel hero to get a big AAA Spider-Man level game, it'd be Gambit. Because after Spider-Man and Venom, he's probably my favorite, but I don't think Gambit's ever getting a standalone game. Maybe an X-Men Legends 3 would be kind of cool. I think Doctor Strange might be kind of fun with the SSDs. You could open portals and travel around and shit. Venom, I want a straight up Venom game. really badly. Like, he should have his own game. A new Deadpool. We're talking about how the Punisher hasn't had a game in forever. Give Deadpool a new game and let Ryan Reynolds voice it and just make it fucking hilarious. Any of those. If I could pick one, it'd be Gambit. If I could pick one that maybe is possible, I would say Venom. But Gambit. Gambit needs more love. Gambit's the best. Thanks for writing in, Soda Popinski. I still fucking hate you. Fuzzy99 said, ahoy hoy, Dr. Blank. Dr. Blank. Long-time listener, but I've never blown your cartridge. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that coming up in November, I'll be attending the Torg Gaming Expo in Columbus, Ohio, rocking my Plump and Juicy Remember the Game t-shirt. Thank you. This led me to an idea. It's time for us hot dogs to rise. I figured since you didn't make it to the Edmonton Expo earlier this year, my fellow wieners should take it to the convention centers and spread the Remember the Game mustard everywhere. I have visions of gathering as many hot dogs. I have visions of the gathering of many hot dogs across the U.S. at all of the retro gaming conventions, setting up hot dog stands and preaching the gospel of Remember the Game. There are dozens of us. Dozens! Tip of the backwards hat if you get that reference. Can you imagine the smell? Anyways, love you, man. Keep at it. Thank you, Fuzzy99. And sorry I struggled so hard to read your comment. It wasn't your fault. It's a me thing, and I'm probably never going to get over it. Yeah, I get asked this a lot. Like, hey, are you ever going to attend, insert this expo here? I did try. I've hosted panels at a couple of expos before. I did try to set up a booth at the Edmonton Expo this year, and they told me to get fucked. They didn't say it like that. They said they had more applicants than they did booth space, but I read between the lines, and I found all four letters in their response. As far as traveling, like, outside of Alberta, especially outside of Canada, like, it's not cheap, and it's not like they cover any of it, and it's, you know, like, Canadian dollars aren't worth very much in the land of America. So you're paying like an extra 30-35% on everything you buy in the States just because, you're Canadian and your money is worthless. So never say never. I would like to start going to a couple of these expos and getting signed up. And I appreciate all of you that have reached out about getting me into them. They're not something that I can really bank on this year, but we have kind of worked out an advertising budget in the budget, I guess, so for Remember the Game here. I got a couple of bucks to spend on that kind of stuff. Maybe we would like to try traveling to an expo or two and try setting up to see if that helps the show at all. So I will eventually hopefully convince somebody to set me up at one of them. I just don't know when. But thank you, Fuzzy, for rocking your RTG colors, and appreciate it very much. Marty So Fly said, hey man, I was wondering if you have any games that stick out in your memory, less because the game was good or bad, but more because of what was happening in your world at the time. A big life event, a big world event, a game that was a snapshot in time. You know what game jumps off? Like, I've told this story. Gears of War is a big one to me. I was going through a pretty rough time. I had gotten out of gaming for a few years, and I had a lot of debt built up from the years where I wasn't gaming and I was out spending money like a jackass. Excuse me. And so I ended up, I bought an Xbox 360 kind of on a whim and decided I'm just staying home for the next year and paying off this debt that I've built up. And Gears of War was the game that came with it. And I played the shit out of Gears of War. And so that's why I always talk about how Gears of War is such an important game to me, because it brought me back to gaming. That's one. But you know, the other one that stands out to me is Uno. And I know some of you are like, what? But it's true. So when I got that Xbox 360, I played a ton of Gears of War, and then I bought Uno off the Xbox Marketplace for like $5. And I would sit there and just play Uno for hours. I would just listen to music, and I would just play Uno. Uno's a great fucking game, by the way. So it's funny. As soon as I read your comment, I was like, I'm putting that in just to give a shout out to Uno on the Xbox Marketplace, because it got me through it helped me save a lot of money because it was so cheap and I couldn't stop playing it. Oh man, Uno. I gotta play that again. I love that game. Muncal wrote in and said, hey Adam, the voice crack. Hey Adam, I recently had to unpack my PS3 and I went on a deep dive in some old games. I was playing Wipeout HD and then I realized, holy fuck, the background music was all songs I listened to when it was last out of the box. 2008 MP3s from LimeWire, simpler times. What a great feature to be able to pipe your own music into a game or have the flexibility of customizing something previously that was a hard-coded cartridge/disc-based staple. What games would you want to switch the soundtrack up on to make it feel, switch on to better feel a game hitting the sweet spot? My thoughts went to customizing the underground music on Mario Wonder to be the classic 8-bit Super Mario underground theme, or the boss music in Final Fantasy VII as the regular fight music in an indie RPG. Any others that would have helped enhance a previous game experience or a dream mashup? Thank you for what you do. Thank you, Monkall, for writing in. Sorry, man, I'm off my game with reading more so than normal today. So it's funny you say that because, again, I thought to my original Xbox, I had put a bunch of Blink-182 and Offspring and Good Charlotte on there. And I would play like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, which I know have great soundtracks, but I would play the Tony Hawk games and I would listen to my own music, which was like Blink and Good Charlotte and stuff. And they fucking lined up perfectly. Blink is so... I'm a huge Blink fan to begin with, and Blink's music just works so well with Tony Hawk. So that's one that stands out to me. I also used to listen to Offspring's Americana while I would just grind in Final Fantasy VII. So that stands out. I know that I can't really change that. Like, that's not exactly your question, but that is something that I would really, really like to do. As far as like, I don't know, like what great feature, or no, pardon me. What was your question here? What games would you want to switch up the soundtrack on to a better feel? Oh, I do know which one I would switch up. I would take the soundtracks from Turtles in Time or Manhattan Project, and I put them in the original TMNT on the NES, because I love the original Ninja Turtles on the NES. I love that game, but the music sucks, and the music doesn't sound like the Turtles music at all. There's no like spoofs of the theme or anything like that. It drives me crazy. So that's what I would do, because I love that game, but it needs a better soundtrack. So I take one of the good TMNT soundtracks and put it in there. The Chemical Zone music from Sonic would make a great Mega Man theme as well. Also, I would just take the Spark Armadillo music from Mega Man X and put it in every game, because it's the best song ever. Honorable shout out to Storm Eagle. The Beast Legend Gaming said, yo, long-time listener, first-time commenting. I believe you. What would be your opinion on the perfect gaming setup if everything was free for you? So this is going to be a lame answer when it comes to modern games, but like I know some people talk about the 4K, HDMI, Dolby Atmos sound or whatever the fuck. I don't know anything about that. Like when I play downstairs, I just play, we have like a, I don't know, it's like a 57-inch TV. It's like 1080, I don't know. And it's good. And I listen to headphones and I'm perfect. When I play upstairs, I do play on a monitor with headphones and it's nice too. It looks good. When it comes to modern gaming, I really don't think I would change all that much. But when it comes to retro gaming, that's what I want. For you talking the perfect gaming setup, I would love a room where I have like an old style couch, like the old 80s, 90s brown flower print couch, one of those giant CRT TVs that weigh like 5 billion pounds, and then a bunch of retro systems with the shelves of games and stuff. Again, we're saying, you said if everything was free for me, that's what I would do. I would just have a setup of a ton of old consoles on like a shelf maybe that goes up and around this old CRT TV, and they're all hooked up and set up on a switch, and then just 2 or 3 shelves of classic games that I can pop in and play whenever I want. On the old couch, maybe with like the old carpet and everything. Yeah. And it'd be full of like a fridge full of like old snacks that are probably long expired, but because they're full of chemicals, it doesn't matter. You can still do it. Yeah. And my back wouldn't hurt. That's what I would. That's my dream setup. Is like a classic gaming room. That's modern games, like I can play them on anything. I want a nice classic gaming setup. But if everything was free, someday. Thanks, Beast Legend. Charlie Guadino. Sorry, I don't know how to say your last name, Charlie. But Charlie says, Adam, congratulations. Due to your love and support of the Sega Saturn, you have been named the president and CEO of Sega. What? Sega is getting back into the console business, and your first task is to name the new console and choose one game to be remade for a launch title, but it can't be Sonic. Good luck. So the name I struggled with longer than the game, because if I have to pick one classic Sega game to remaster and make my launch title, but it can't be Sonic, I'm going to go with Phantasy Star 4. I think a big remastered Final Fantasy VII remake of Phantasy Star 4 would get some people talking. So that would, I did consider going Echo the Dolphin, but I don't know if Sega owns Echo or not. And even if they do, I'm still going with Phantasy Star 4. And then here's my name. Listen to this. You had the Sega Saturn. You had the Sega Dreamcast. The Sega Eclipse. And our tagline, it's faster than a car. Swish. That's the Sega Eclipse with the launch title of remake of Phantasy Star 4. Thank you, Charlie. That's a good question. 3 big words Adam can't say. Said, hey, Adam, long-time listener, first-time Patreoner. Thank you very much, by the way. I finally got all caught up listening to your back catalog. It took me almost 2 years just listening to and from work, and I've loved every minute of it. Thank you. I've recently dug out all my retro consoles, and I'm trying to get back a lot of the games I had played, wanted from when I was a kid. So last weekend, I went to a retro game buy and sell bartering for a few games, and I noticed Classic Concentration on the NES. Never in my life would I have even glanced at it, but thanks to this podcast, I was intrigued to talk to seller into throwing it in. Gotta say, it's a fun little time waster. Anyways, this is probably getting long, so I wanted to ask real quick. quick. Are you planning on doing more console draft episodes? For the 64, GameCube, Game Boys, PlayStation 1 and 2, Xbox, Sega? I'm anxious to listen to the SNES draft after hearing the NES one. Love it. Yes, for the record, and thank you for writing in 3 big words, we are. So if you don't know, we've done 2 expansion passes now where we've drafted. We've had 4 of our regular guests in, and in one they drafted NES games, and then in one they drafted Super Nintendo games, and then the Patreons voted for who had the best lineup. 2 of our most popular episodes by a mile. They're just a lot of work to get set up. I need to find time that works for all of us and run the draft and everything like that, but I do promise you more drafts are coming. I'm not quite sure what the next one's going to be yet. Probably either the 64 or the Sega Genesis, but I promise at some point more draft episodes are coming to Expansion Pass. And thank you to everyone that's asked. I know how popular they are. That makes me feel good. I like that. Finally, before we move on, it's letter time. Azkalan, I hope I said that right, said, hey, Adam, long-time listener, first-time blower. You all blowing for the first time. You mentioned from time to time that your girlfriend, fiance, is not much of a gamer, but she does play games once in a while. What are some of the games she likes to play so I can make some suggestions to my wife? She's not a gamer, but I'm trying to convince her to give video games a try. She once played Left 4 Dead with me and died right before we escaped because she comically fell off the side of a ramp leading to a boat, and she never picked up a controller again. I can assure you that my girlfriend, my fiance, Shaylee, has not played Left 4 Dead. You know what? So she plays Zelda. She likes Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. She also plays Slay the Spire, because everybody should. But together, we mostly play like Mario. We like platforming games. We did do some of It Takes Two. It was really charming. We didn't finish it. So I would definitely recommend trying It Takes Two if you've got something that can play it in 2 controllers, because that is such a beautifully charming multiplayer game that I think anybody can pick up and play. Or go with some Marios. And I'm talking like the new Super Mario Bros. Or the Mario Bros. U Deluxe or Mario 3D World. These ones where you can play it you can play multiplayer and play at the same time and pick each other up if someone's in trouble or trap someone in a bubble and help them get past the section and stuff. Those are the ones we have the most fun playing. Also, I'd recommend Overcooked. Those games are really fun for multiple people, and they're super easy to learn. Anybody can pick them up and play them in minutes. They're like a cute little party game. Just know they will put the stress test on your relationship. Just be aware of that, because it can get pretty heated in a game of Overcooked. But those are a couple that Shay and I have played together that I would highly recommend. So good luck. And let me know. Let me know if any of them work. I'd appreciate it. I'd like to know. All right, we got to move on. Thank you, everybody, for all the submissions. As always, I appreciate it. Let's switch things up, get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. It is Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, they can remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get there in just a minute. And this week I figured we're talking Wario, so I went with 3 of his games. We have Wario Land Shake It for the Wii. I've got Wario Master of Disguise for the DS, and Wario World for the GameCube. And 46% said play Wario World, remake Master of Disguise, and erase Shake It. So let me see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Derek Karen said, I'm playing Wario World. It's a great game. I'm remaking Master of Disguise. I've never heard of it, but it's going to be a Metal Gear Solid 3 type game based on manipulating your suit to your environment type. Oh, boy. And then erase the other, which I've also never heard of, but I wanted to see if I could make Adam mad by bringing up Metal Gear Solid 3. Well, you fucking did it. Derek, double secret probation. Get the fuck out of my house. God, I hate Metal Gear Solid 3. Fuck game. Fuck. Radmac. I don't see any Metal Gear Solid 3 in this one. Says, play Wario World. It seems great. I'm going to remake Masters of Disguise on principle. I'm a huge advocate of remaking DS titles because of how damned inaccessible they are to port to anything, given how many of them rely on the stylus. Give us a way to play some of these on modern hardware. It's a fair point. And then erase Shake It. I never played it, but the cover art makes it look like Wario is masturbating, and that feels like something that doesn't need to have been brought into the world. Hey, don't shame. Everybody does it. No, you're not all when they're playing Wario games, but Blaine the Hoagie Man said, I'll play Shake It, since it has great music and fun gameplay, and the fact you could call this game bitch better have my money. What? And the fact you could call this game bitch better have my money. The game, and it would still be the same. Oh, I see. You could call this game bitch better have my money, the game? Really? Is it about collecting debts? I misread that. That's awesome. I'm interested now. I don't have a Wii, but I'm interested. Blaine says, I'll remake Wario World and just re-release it for modern consoles. Agreed. And I'll erase Master of Disguise since I'll be damned if I'm getting rid of the other two. Normally, I would shame somebody for defending the Wii like that, but I like Blaine the Hoagie Man, so fair enough. Seems crazy, but fair enough. And Larry White said, play Wario World because it's on GameCube, and I love that little purple box. Remake Master of Disguise because I don't know anything about it. It looks like Luchador Wario on the cover, and wrestling is cool. And then erase Shake It because the cover looks like it's a game about Wario pulling his pud, and nobody needs to see that. All right, listen, all of you. Like, I mean, yes, it does look like you're wanking it when you're playing the Wii and you're shaking. I get it. But come on. I'm looking at the cover art right now. It's like a bright red Wiimote in his... Well, anyways. I'm going with the runner-up this week. 26% of you voted the same way that I would, including Jeff Hamrick II, who said, play Master of Disguise since I've never played it. Remake Wario World because that game rules and could use some modernized control and quality of life updates. And erase Shake It since we have the WarioWare games, which are better anyways. I can't say as to whether or not the WarioWare games are better than Shake It, but I do like them and we do have those. I'm going with the same order. I'm going to play the Master of Disguise because I have a Nintendo DS and it doesn't look like the game is insanely expensive. And then I'm going to remake Wario World because I have a GameCube, but the game is insanely expensive. So I'm just going to port it to the Switch so I don't have to pay like $400 to play it. And then I'm going to erase Shake It because I'm straight up biased against the Wii. I'm not going to pull any punches. I hate the Wii. And so I'm going to erase it on that principle alone. Damn it. Thank you, everybody that wrote in this week, as always. Let's pause here. We'll get a quick word in from our sponsor, then I'll tell you what I've been playing, and we'll get into the Wario Land 4 talk, all right? We'll be right back after this. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, work sucks, I know. And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have two goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix. There's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention, but when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. Okay, what have I been playing over the last 7 days? I actually been playing Wario Land 4. I wrapped it up a couple of days ago. It's awesome. You're about to hear about it. It's really good. Mega Man Legends. I basically binged that over the whole weekend. I played like 5 hours of it on Sunday, and then I got to the final boss on Monday night. I'm stuck on the final boss right now. That's probably gonna be next week's episode. I'll warn you all right now. I think the game is charming as fuck. It's creative. I really like everything it does, but it might have the worst control scheme I've ever seen in my life. So I am going to rip the controls a new ass, but I still like the game a lot. I'm also still playing Starfield. I'll be playing that right up till Spider-Man and Mario drop, and then a little bit of F-Zero 99, and no, I still don't have a fucking win. All right, let's talk Wario Land 4. That's why you're here. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off before my guests and I hog the microphone. So let's get to a few of your comments here. Shifty-looking Thane said, well, since I've never even heard of the first 3, I'm quite shocked they released a 4th. You've never heard of the Wario Land games? I've never played 2 or 3. But wow, you are shifty looking, Thane. It surprises me. That said though, I haven't played 2 or 3 either. I only played the original on the Game Boy, so fair enough. Hump Vader said, great game. My son speedruns Wario Land 4 and held the fastest time until very recently. I know it like the back of my hand. Wow. Much respect to Junior Hump. Vader Jr. Vader Jr. is better than Junior Hump. Shout out to Vader Jr. for having a speedrun record. That's wild. I'd love to do that. That's cool. LA Rams fan said, I have fond memories of the Wario Land series. I still remember the day my cousin showed me the first game on her Game Boy, and I've been hooked ever since. Such a damn shame they have never ported the Virtual Boy Wario Land to anything. Such a forgotten classic. You know what's crazy? I've never played Virtual Boy, and so I'm always instantly ready to mock it. But Bradley brings that game up on this episode too. Apparently it was like the good Virtual Boy game. I didn't know that existed. That's wild. Cool Gary said, I was in middle school when I got Wario Land 4 for the GBA. It was my intro into the Wario Land series, so the stupid bathroom humor and silly game mechanics satisfied my sick little preteen monkey brain. But it still holds up today. The clean platforming, cute and colorful art design, and all the bonus content made for a really polished title. The Wario Land series needs to get some more love from Nintendo. I agree with every word of that, and I'm 39, and the stupid bathroom humor still hits with me, so... Fart jokes will never be old. Never go old. They're always going to be funny. And Dr. Wario had to write in this week and said, I really enjoy this game. I know you'd never have guessed by my name. I like the use of Princess Shikora, and the story is well done for a little platformer. The Golden Pyramid is a fun location and progressive with the crazy Golden Diva as a villain. Looking forward to this episode. The boss fights make me fucking crazy in this game, including the Golden Diva. But I do agree, this game is charming as fuck. And it's time to talk about it. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why Bradley was here. Everybody's here. Let's do it. I'm going to queue up some Wario Land 4 music. It's so good. And when it stops, Bradley McCue and I are going to take a look back at Wario Land 4, which originally released in North America on the GBA on November 19th, 2001. 22 years. Holy fuck. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, so joining me via the blank phone this week to talk Wario Land 4, a delightful little game. I literally just thought of this as I was getting ready to do this. You might be the least Wario of any of my regular guests. It's maybe the least. It's my friend Bradley McCue. It's been a while, Bradley. How you doing, buddy?
It's clearly been a while because I've Wario'd up a little bit in the last couple of years.
Well, now, like, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, so you're not, you don't have an accent. You've never come across as overtly greedy or evil. You don't have the red, he likes to partake in the evenings nose. I will say you can grow a Wario stash, I think.
Oh, I could certainly grow. I think I could. I might now, actually.
Yeah. So if maybe you've got the stash. But other than that, you're not very Wario-y. You're not evil. You're not an anti-hero. You're Luigi-ish.
You know what? I'll take
Luigi
that.
vibes. Yeah, you give off Luigi
I'm taking
vibes.
Luigi vibes. Yeah, I'm a little cowardly, but like I'm a good guy overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you'd go to bat. What a weird. I wonder who is. I think I'm most Wario of anyone on this show. I've got the body proportions of Wario. I'm evil. Anyways, how you been, man? It's been a while. You good?
Been good, yeah, been good.
Yeah.
You know, been busy, but like got married in the summer, and so that was kind of cool. And
Congratulations. That's something else Wario wouldn't do. So
Oh yeah,
I
that's
would
true.
assume. So
I
he's
would
got his.
assume it's because nobody would want to marry Wario though. You know, I think that's
I think
more
it's
that.
because he's got his heterosexual life partner in Waluigi,
Oh yeah,
and they're like Jay and
my
Silent
boy.
Bob, and he's like, I'm not. I have Waluigi, who, by the way,
God,
and we're gonna get into the future of Wario and stuff toward the end of this episode, but like, what do we have to? I don't even think my powers of willing games into existence are strong enough to make a Waluigi game happen. But like, what is it
please,
gonna take?
I beg you for a Waluigi game.
Right? And I don't want like a Dance Dance Revolution or whatever the fuck. I want like a game like this. Like,
Wario's
why have
getting
we
his own
not?
game. Fucking
Yeah,
Peach is getting her own game. Toad's got a few games.
it's
Like,
it's ridiculous. And like again, we're gonna get into the future of Wario at the end of this. I truth be told, man, I would settle with another Wario Land game where Waluigi is like a playable character.
yeah,
Let's
or
meet in the
just
middle
even
here.
there. You know?
Yeah. I do wonder. I'll ask you this, all right? As we get into this, so we're gonna talk about the game, obviously, everybody. But I'll ask you this, Bradley. Like, we
Mhm.
haven't outside of WarioWare, which I'm not dunking on. They're fine. They're fun games. But we haven't gotten like a new Wario platformer in quite a long time. Why do you think that
2008.
is?
Dude, I have no idea. My only assumption that I can make, and I haven't done my research on this, is that Wario Land Shake It didn't perform financially. It's the only thing I can think of, which is a bummer because that is like one of the best Wii games. That's like top 5 Wii games. But
That's
I guess
not
people
saying
just
much. But sorry, go ahead. I hate the Wii. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I
I'm not-
agree that the Wii maybe kind of sucks as a whole, but I think there's like a handful of really good shit on there. And
Agreed.
Wario Land is good because it is a side-scrolling platformer that utilizes like the Wiimote's motion control only to the tiniest amount. For the most part, you're just controlling your character. I think Wario Land Shake It is a superb Wii game, but we're not here to talk about Wario Land Shake It.
No, we're talking
Yeah,
about the lack of love Wario gets. The only thing I can think of is they're already like they develop Mario platformers. There has to be a Donkey Kong game in the works. You cannot convince me they're not working on something with Donkey Kong. And it's
I
just
agree.
like maybe they just are like he just doesn't sell as good. They're like we only have a finite amount of resources to put into platformers, and obviously Mario's the king, and then Donkey Kong is big, and maybe they're like it's just people don't want them. And I'm like, we do fucking want them, but maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Here's what I genuinely think the problem is. I think that Nintendo is at any given time developing many games in many of their franchises because as soon as a year goes by where one of their franchises doesn't have a new game, people are like, "Where the fuck's Metroid?
Yeah.
Where is it?" And we're like, "We gave you one like 2 years ago, you know?"
As an
Or like-
F-Zero fan, I feel you.
Yeah,
I've been waiting
exactly.
fucking like I don't even know how long I've been waiting for fucking F-Zero. So I get it. They have some,
And
but it's like if you're not going to use all these IPs, give them out. Imagine if you gave an indie studio
Wario Land. Yes, I agree. Like
my
look at that.
God.
What's the studio that does Spelunky? What's this? Give them Wario.
Yeah.
Give Wario to the Spelunky people. That
You
would be perfect.
That would change an indie studio's life, career trajectory, whatever. If they got their hands on an IP like Wario,
It would be like the same.
Fuck, drives me crazy.
It would be like the same. Do you remember like when Retro Studios was just given Metroid, and then they're like, "We're gonna make this the best series of all time," and then they did. Just let another studio do that.
Yeah, like you've got Punch Out sitting there that you're not using. Give it to a studio. Like you've got these IPs that everybody
Punch Out
wants.
to EA.
Oh, you shut your fucking mouth. I like you, but I will be goddamned if I'm gonna let you taint Punch Out with those sons of. Anyway, we're talking Wario Land 4. I gotta say, dude, maybe I'm not practicing what I preach here, but like the only Wario games that I've played outside of some of the WarioWares are Super Mario Land 3 Wario Land for the original Game Boy, the debut of Wario. The debut of him is playable. And then this one, Wario Land 4. And I like Wario, like Super Mario Land 3. It's fine. We'll cover it on the show eventually. But I played this for the first time over the past week. And two things. Number one, the streak of GBA games blowing my mind continues because
the GBA is amazing.
I've yet to play a GBA game I don't like. And number two, this game was awesome. I was
Yeah.
like Wario has yet to steer me wrong. I have a couple of minor gripes. I'm not putting it on the level of like Super Mario World or anything. But what a clever little game.
Yeah,
It was just fun.
it's very fun. It's very I think that like what really brings this game to fruition is that like immediately you notice how beautiful it is and like
Oh,
how really well put together all the colors are and the sprites. Like it is just like it is 16-bit graphics at their absolute finest in my opinion.
buddy, I mean, first of all, the GBA is just. I've said this many times, but for our newer listeners, I was in like my bar hopping phase when the GBA was at its prime, and I really just
Oh, yeah.
wasn't playing a lot of games. So I've barely played it. For all of you that are like cover more GBA, I haven't played anything. So like I'm catching up now. I'm slowly catching up on them. But every time I play one, I'm like, if I had played this in its prime, I like the GBA might be my favorite system ever because it's just Super Nintendo graphics on steroids. And
Absolutely.
I rarely I am not a graphics guy. Nice graphics are great, but I don't care. It can look like just make it fun, and I don't care what it looks like. But I agree with you. I'm sitting here playing this game, and I'm and the other thing is like I'm playing it straight up. I emulated it. I don't care. I'll say it. So like
You
I'm
do.
playing it on a 4K monitor, and this is like an old GBA game that was meant to be played on like a 3-inch screen. And sometimes you take those games and you blow them up, and they look a little bit like, ugh. This
A little
game
shitty.
looked spotless. I was floored at how
It's an
beautiful this game
incredible
was.
looking game. Yeah,
My
it
God.
is so good looking. It
I
is such a banger.
I don't like maybe this is a hot take, but I honestly don't know if I've ever played a Mario game that looks this good. In 2D
You
at
know
least.
what?
In 2D.
I would agree with that. You know, like with the exception of like the 2.5D stuff cuz that obviously looks pretty good,
Sure,
but
sure.
like I agree. I think that this is like there is such a wonderful. There is one level that I think looks like shit, and we'll get to that in a little bit once we get into the levels. But like overall, it is such a good looking game. You know what else is great about this game is that it controls pretty much perfectly.
Yeah, it does. It's the controls are kind of like it took me a minute to get a feel for it because they're like, well, you can hold down the one button to put down his head in charge, but you can also do this other charge where you kind of do like a shoulder charge. And I was like, this seems like a little I'm overcharged. But then
Yeah,
quickly I'm like, oh no, never mind. Like some of the charges work here and some of the charges work here, and they all play
yeah,
nice, and it feels so tight. Like it controls.
because
I mean, again though, it's got the GBA, right? So it didn't have like 400 buttons to work with, but
yeah,
it
exactly.
made maximum use of what it had.
Totally. Like
No question.
you had the elbow hit, you had the headbutt that you could do that also made you run really fast. Um, you know, like it's not a crazy complex game, but if you can kind of figure out which buttons are doing which, you can make it complex yourself, I guess, is the best way
Yeah.
to describe it.
Plus, he
Yeah.
gets all these like funky powers, which we'll get into, and most of them, the only funky powers I found difficult to use were the ones where I had to time my jump, like the springy one, and I had to time my
Mhm.
jump because I hit the ground and shit. And sometimes I would, and that might just be that I suck. But there were times where I was just like, "Fucking jump now!" and I couldn't get him to do it. But by and large, it was
There
good.
were
I
there were
wanted to just
times,
quickly,
yeah,
but before we move on, I wanted to just go back to the graphics for a couple minutes. Um,
absolutely.
I'm looking at like some screenshots of it on my computer here right now, and it's not just like how bright Wario and the enemy sprites are, but like the backgrounds are stunning.
Amazing.
The foregrounds, like sometimes like you have like if you've played Donkey Kong Country, yeah, of course,
Oh
everybody has.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
like you know the levels where it's like raining or snowing, and the rain or snow is in front of you, but then you can still see everything behind you. That's what
Yeah,
this
yeah,
game
yeah.
does at times, and it looks so crisp.
Yeah, it looks
Wow.
really, really good. It's
Like nothing is
like
fuzzy. There's never any confusion as to what you can land on or interact with. It's just
and you know what?
it's never ugly to look at.
I didn't even think of until you mentioned it. I didn't even consider the fact that it looked that great on my 4K monitor. Like I didn't even think about it. I just remember thinking like, wow, this still looks great. And
Yeah,
didn't even
and
really consider that it was supposed to be played on a 3-inch screen.
yeah, and like and some of those games you blow them up and they look awesome, but some of them you blow them up and it's like, oh, this was
Yeah. Yeah,
this
you
was
ever
meant tiny.
what
But
is it? Those Mega Man Battle Network games, dude, they do not look good now. They do not look good.
oh really? I keep getting told by people I need to play them, and I want to, but I haven't yet. I've never played
They're n-
one.
as you know what, as somebody who is a big GBA proprietor, I will say those ones are pretty skippable in my opinion.
Wow. Oh my God.
But
Don't send your hate mail to me. Send it to
this is all,
Bradley.
send it to me. Yeah.
I'm not dunking on your game. I haven't played them yet.
There is a really good Mega Man game on there though, and I forget what it's called. I think it's just called like Mega Man in Base or something like that. And that game actually is good.
And there's the Mega Man ZX games and stuff. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Those are good.
Before we get, I'm just curious, like, because I've only played half a dozen GBA games, like in my career, as it were, as a gamer. It's not a career, but whatever. I'm just putting you on the spot. Then we'll get into that. What's your favorite GBA game?
Minish Cap by a mile.
Oh yeah,
Minish Cap.
That might be the last time you were on the show.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out the last time you were on the show. I think it was Minish Cap. Yeah.
But that's by far my favorite GBA game. I also really like Mario and Luigi, though. It's I wouldn't say it's a toss up, but like Mario and Luigi's pretty close behind.
The Superstar Saga.
Yeah, both Fire Emblem games are really good on the GBA.
What a little hoss of a system.
I can't believe that it works as well as it does, if I'm being honest. And like, I am honestly more surprised that it aged as well as it did.
Yeah, for sure.
It really wouldn't, like, it wouldn't stand a reason historically that it would age that well, but it does. Like, all these games still look so good. And like, these games, like, people are now taking the aesthetic of these games. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen new indie games described as Minish Cap like.
Sure. Yeah.
And
I know some people
Wario
are getting
like.
Yeah, and I know some people are getting sick of the indie devs like riding the retro coattails. I'm like, no, man, you strap yourself in and you enjoy those coattails, because that's what I want. I want more.
We don't have half as much retro inspired games as we should. I would double it.
Yeah, agreed. Just for the record, because I know people are gonna message me now and ask. At this point, I think my favorite GBA game is Metroid Fusion. I think.
Ooh,
but
that's a good one. But you know what's crazy? Okay, so I'm a huge Metroid Fusion fan, but if I'm being honest, it's not even the best Metroid game on the GBA. I think Zero Mission is a better game, but they're both bangers.
Yeah, I haven't played Zero Mission yet, but I keep getting told it is a must
Super
play.
banger.
I want to play it for sure. So
yeah.
Anyway, that'll do it for our GBA retrospective. No. Okay, so anyway, the point just being, Game Boy Advance games look so fucking good, and this one is no exception at all. It's even Wario himself, like that yellow hat with the purple overalls, and then that big red nose, which I really think I think he's got some health problems with that big red nose, but like everything about I'm looking at the sprite right now, and I'm like, that's like, you can tell it's like, yeah, that is Wario. Like, he looks so fucking good in these he's such a cool looking character.
Yeah. You said earlier that you have never that you've only ever played like the first Wario Land game and then this one, and like that's it as far as Wario platformers goes. That you haven't played any of the other ones. No. I'm missing a couple. I haven't done Wario Land 2, Wario World, or Master in Disguise. But other than that, I've played the rest of them. And I got to say, like, this one kind of fits directly in the middle as far as quality goes. I think that it is such a banger. I think some of the stuff that it does here is done better in other Wario Land games. But I think that there is so much positivity to this game. And, like, especially the big thing is that, like I personally think, while I think it's kind of close, I think Wario Land 3 might be a bit better than 4. Please send your hate mail to me. I think Wario Land 3 might be a bit better just because it kind of plays into the fact that every character or every level is kind of its own miniature Metroidvania, and I kind of like it a bit better. Wario Land Shake It, I think, is also a bit better, but it is more linear. You basically go from left to right. You get a key at the same time that you start getting the countdown. Because in this game, at the end of every level, you have a countdown where you have to get back to the front of the level and escape.
Yeah.
But in this game, the key that you need to exit the level and the place where you start the countdown are in different places, and so it can make it kind of frustrating sometimes.
It's a mind fuck, yeah. Like, so if you've never played it before, like, we'll get into the story's fucking stupid, but we'll get into the story shit later. Like, the basics of it is like,
story is.
I had to look it up, and I did find it. It doesn't matter. Like, you just want to play to platform, but like the basics of it are like, you go into a level, and throughout the level, you need to find 4 pieces of like a gem, like a crystal. and they're in these giant. They're unmissable once you find them, but then these giant gold treasure chests, and you need to find the 4 pieces of this gem, and then you also need to find this little bird ghost thing whose nose is a key. And I don't know what it is about Wario games and the noses. Wario's nose, this key ghost nose. But you find this ghost with a key nose. And then, like Bradley said, at some point you set off this timer. And I love every time you set off the blue frog timer, every time you hit it, you hear that like, hurry up. Like the game. I love when it says that. I love when it says that. And then it gives you a random amount of time. It could be like a minute and a half, could be 5-6 minutes. There's like some levels where you get 6 or 7 minutes. But basically,
there's one where you get 9.
Yeah, exactly. And once you've hit that timer, if you still haven't found all of the chunks of the crystal, you need to find the rest of the chunks. You still need to find the key ghost if you haven't already, and you need to get back to the entrance before the timer runs out. And I only ran out of time once, and I was like, damn it. But then when you run out of time, you don't die. It just starts taking away from your money, which nice.
I don't
like,
mind. Yeah.
No, I will say, and I'm good with it, but like, this is not the hardest game I've ever played.
No, I would
completely
agree. Yeah, I would completely agree. I also don't think it's like the easiest Nintendo game I've ever played either.
It's not like Yoshi or Kirby or something.
Yeah, but it's kind of like I would actually say it's quite adjacent to like the Yoshi's Island series, but just with Wario.
It's just
that's another motherfucker who's still getting games and Wario isn't.
I fucking hate Yoshi. So I'm like, that fucking noise he makes. He's the Jar Jar Binks of fucking Nintendo, and he makes me crazy. He fucking makes me crazy. I have Star Wars on the mind because we talked Star Wars last week. But that's the basic principle of the game. And you mentioned this, and like, yeah, it's weird because in some level, like in the first few levels, you're finding all of the crystals. And then the key is kind of around the timer. So you get the key at the timer, you run back, you're out, and you're like, fuck yeah. But then in some of these levels, I'm getting to the timer and I only have 2 of the 4 crystals and I don't have the key. And I'm like, fuck me, I missed everything and I got to get out of here now. And then most of the levels are so well designed that on the way back to the entrance, you have unlocked like a new path. And that's where you find the rest of the crystals and the key. Like there was only 1 or 2 levels where I got out and finished the level and realized I had missed a crystal or something.
Yeah,
like, it was pretty well designed in that way.
The only thing I didn't like about that is that the game doesn't do the game lets you know that you have to go into the level and get the keys, but they don't do a very good job of explaining that you need to get all of the crystals, because in most Wario Land games there are like those chests throughout the levels, but they're always optional. In this game they are not optional. You have to get all of them. Yeah.
But at least it does a nice thing of like, if you beat a level and then you realize like, oh, I only got 3 of the 4 crystal parts. So say you got the key, because you need the key to open up the path to the next level in a world. Because in each world, or whatever you want to call it, in each segment of the game, there's 4 levels and then a boss fight. And in each segment, you need the key from a level to open up the path to the next level, and you need all 4 crystal chunks to form a crystal, and you need all 4 completed crystals to open the door to the boss. So, like, if you like, and there was like the one instance where I finished a level and I had missed one of the 4 crystal chunks. I had the key, I had the other 3. I go back into the level, I get the crystal piece that I had missed. I found it pretty easily. Then I hit the timer, and then I'm basically just ignoring everything and running out. Like, at least
I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed right now. That literally you went into a level and missed one of the crystals only one time?
I think I only missed it one time, yeah.
I think I had to replay like 8 or 9 levels if I'm being honest.
But like,
yeah, to go back and get the crystals.
Listen, for anyone that listens to this podcast with any regularity, I like to think I am not a very arrogant gamer. I rarely am like, I'm pretty good at video game. My Let's Play series is literally called Adam Sucks at Video Games. All right. I don't own this at all. But like the puzzle platformer kind of like, this game was like, this is the cortisone cream for my itch. Like, this is exactly the type of game that I'm good at. I love this because I'm exploring every nook and cranny. And the thing about it is, until you set off that timer, you have no time limit, which is really cool too. You can look around as much as you want until you hit that timer and get hit with that hurry up. And which I love it when he says that. And then it suddenly the music changes and everything is pandemonium and you're rushing back. But I found most of the crystals were they weren't too
easy.
Yeah, they're not too hidden.
For the most part, they're right where you should be looking. I'm just dumb, so I just
I just found the levels like they're fun. Like, so the levels are fun to explore, but outside of the crystals that you need to find, the only other things to find in this game are like more treasure that just gives you more money to basically run up your high score and play the mini games. Or there's like a
the audio
CD.
CDs, yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, I think I found like 4 CDs.
Yeah,
They're well
I
hidden.
don't think it could have been more than that, yeah.
Yeah, they are well hidden. Fuck me. Because I felt like
CDs
I
are
was pretty
cool.
thorough. Yeah. It's a cool idea. And again, keep in mind that like this was a GBA game that like if you got this for your birthday or Christmas or something, you could beat this game in like 4 or 5 hours. So you need something like those CDs to give you a reason to come back.
So
I'm
I want to tell
for hiding
yeah.
them.
I want to tell you
What?
how I played this game because I think it's actually like it's like such a big plus to how good the game is because it kind of allows you to play it however you want. There's 4 worlds, each have 4 levels as we've already described with a boss fight, and then there's a place you can go to play mini games. I did it once. I don't know. Did you fuck with the mini games?
I a little bit only so because like
Yeah.
all you not we'll get into the mini games later, but like all you get out of the mini games is you can unlock these other coins that you can then use to buy items that will damage bosses at the beginning to make the bosses easier.
What?
But
Oh, I didn't. Okay, so I didn't know this.
it didn't matter though. Like it was I used them on a couple of bosses just for the sake of like a completionist review. But the only reason you'd have to use them on the bosses, I think, are if you beat the bosses fast enough, you get the maximum amount of treasure from beating the bosses, and the amount of treasure you get impacts the ending you get. So
Yes,
again, it's
that's
just
right.
replay value. But the mini games themselves, I found very boring. So sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't mean to derail
I agree.
the chat there.
No. Please, I asked. Essentially, the way that I played it is because you have access to all 4 worlds right from the get go. So what
Yeah.
I do is I go into a world, I play the levels, and then if I died, I'd be like, okay, if I go back into this level now, I died 7 minutes into playing it. I'm just gonna feel frustrated. So I would go to the next world and play levels until I died. Go to the next world. So ultimately, the way I played this game caused me to pretty much fight all of the bosses all at the very end. And I thought that I honestly loved playing it that way. I loved being able to alter my own playthrough to make myself as comfortable as possible and avoid gamer rage.
Yeah, listen, like y'all know what a big Mega Man fan I am. And one of the many things that is great about Mega Man is that you can pick the boss order, the order you play through the levels. So I'm always going to be a fan of that. And you're right. Yeah, like at any time you can give up on one because you're in this like giant pyramid and each of the 4 areas with the 4 levels each in them are like sections of the pyramid. Yeah. So like you're right. At any time you can be like, all right, I don't want to play this level anymore. I'm leaving and going back. I just basically put my head down and charge through like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I do like the idea that you could leave and go back and play different levels anytime you want. There was one level that kind of started to get under my fucking skin, which we'll get into in a second. And that was
I'm
one
excited
where I was tempted. Yeah, that was one where I
because
was kind of tempted to leave, but I didn't.
there is one level in this game that I just genuinely hate, and I'm really excited to see if it's the same one.
There's no, I will say, like, holy fuck, we're at 25 minutes already. There's no level I hate as much as I hate the boss fights in this game. That is my one criticism of this game. The boss fights can lick my ass. I fucking hate them. They look gorgeous. The sprites look gorgeous. But the boss fights are just so at the end of each of the 4 levels, you have to fight a boss. And my problem, I hate boss fights generally. So my opinion is tainted. But the problem with the boss fights in this game, in my opinion, they are so hurry up and wait. It feels like there's so many instances where you have to wait for them to get into a position where you can hit them. And in the meantime, you're just standing there with your thumb in Wario's ass. And I was like, fuck. And then I would die. I died so many times on the boss fights because I kept running out of fucking time because they're on a timer. And I'd be down to 1 hit left and then I'd run out of time. Damn
This is okay. So this is my issue as well. I think I was killed by a boss 0 times in this game. However, I timed out a lot of times.
So many times.
And it was so frustrating. There was hold on, let me think. There's the plant one. I didn't have any issues with the plant. Did you have issues with the plant guy?
No, I actually thought the plant was pretty cool, especially because like to start the fight, you have to charge into him and break the pot that he's in. I thought that was pretty clever. I liked that.
Really neat. Yeah. That one is really good. I think that one's really good. Then there was one that was like, and this one wasn't my least favorite one, but there was one that was like a rat that was inside of a teddy bear. I think I timed out on that one like a couple of times because
I did,
they give you 4 fucking minutes to fight these
again,
bosses.
in a couple of these bosses, it's just, I mean, maybe if you play it enough, you get to learn the strategies, and it's not like this. But like when I was playing it, you have 4 minutes, and it's just at some points they just get themselves in a position where you're like, fuck. So now I need to wait for them to attack so that I can use the attack to counter the attack to open them up so that I can then hit them, and then maybe I hit them once, and then they go back up where I can't fucking hit them till they go through the motion of their attack. And, oh my, that's where I was getting so fucking irritated with it. Fuck. Sorry.
So I haven't mentioned the other 2 bosses yet because these are the ones I hate the most. The clock one sucks. I hate that one.
Which is the clock one? So the one I hate the most is the dead cat thing. Is that the clock? Or is that the different? No, that's a different one. Yeah. I hated that one more than the clock.
I hate that one so much. And the thing is that I hate that one because the second half of the fight is pretty much zero fun. The first half of the fight where you're jumping on the waves and trying to hit the bat off of its head, that's okay. But as soon as you have to go and stand on top of his head, and then he's like throwing the waves around so that they're inconsistent heights and you can't get on top of his head because the fucking wave keeps going down.
Yeah.
Don't put that in a game.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And I'm going to be honest, I fucking hate the final boss too.
Me too. I'm not
annoying.
I didn't hate the final boss as much as like Cat Bat. But it did just feel like the final boss, they came up with 3 moves and then they're like, okay, filter them. 3 moves, just this move, this move, this move. It was really easy to track. I did not find the final boss very difficult.
No, I just found it annoying. I hated all the bosses. I just found all the bosses annoying. I just was like, I'm having so much fun like playing the levels. I genuinely really enjoy the levels in this game for the most part and solving the puzzles of them and finding everything. And then I get stuck in these boss fights and I'm just like, fuck me. Like, this is just everything I didn't want it to be. So for any of you that are, as I've been getting messages on social media being like, oh man, I hope you liked Wario Land. It's going to get a good score. I do like it. We're going to get back into the positives in a second here, but I got to tell you, like, you're outside of how nice they look, I think your boss fights by and large suck and I hate them.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing, is that you had texted me this. You had texted me earlier this week and you're like, I hate these boss fights.
I did.
I hate them. And so I read that and I was like, oh no, I haven't played this game yet. And so I should get to doing that. And now I'm really concerned that the bosses are going to suck. And then the first one I did was the plant. So I was like, what the hell's Adam even talking about? This is child's play, easy stuff, cool bosses. And then I got to like the next boss and I was like, oh, okay. I think the second one I did was Cat Bat, and I really hated it.
Fucking made me insane. Oh my god. So anyway, I'm glad we got that. I got out of my system. I'm good now. I had to rant about them. Yeah. So here's what's gonna happen. We're already at the half-hour mark. I want to get into some of these levels, talk about the ones we liked and the ones we didn't like. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the mini games, and then I don't know, whatever else there is to talk about. In just a minute, we're gonna pause here for a quick word from a sponsor. If I was able to sucker somebody into sponsoring this, and then we'll come back with more Wario Land in just a minute. All right, I want to shift into the positive, but we have to like, I know we each said there's a level we don't like. And so we might as well get that out of the way. And then I don't know about you. I don't think there's anything else I really don't like, but there is a level that I want to rant about a little bit.
Yeah, so. There's one level I really hate as well. Actually, there's one level that I really hate and one level that I think just is super ugly. I don't hate playing it. I just think it's ugly. But why don't you tell me what is the worst one to you? What is your least favorite?
The only level I just genuinely was like, I fucking don't like this level was the, I think it's like a hotel. It's like a ghost hotel. And you need to like go from floor to floor and in one door and in another door. And I was like, I can't remember what door I've been in and what door I haven't fucking. Every other level, or by and large, most of the levels I felt were very well designed and like they gave you a false sense of exploration, but to really get everything and get out, they were fairly linear. And it felt like you were exploring more than you were. And I really liked that. This one, I just was like, I got lost for so long where I couldn't remember what fucking door I hadn't been in. And I just was, and I hate ghost houses and stuff by and large in Mario and every other game anyways. And this level was just starting to really crawl up my ass. But it was the one I got stuck on for the longest. And I was like, I've had enough. I never want to go to your hotel again or whatever the fuck it is, an apartment, whatever the shit. I hate that level. That is the one level that really burned my ass.
I will be honest with you. I love this level. I think this level rules. I love Hotel. The level.
What do you hate?
Yeah. The level directly before that one sucks. And it's like the Fire Canyon or Cavern or whatever.
I like that level.
Nope, I hate it. And here's why. Nope, I won't take it. And here's why. 2 things. It's inconsistent timing that pisses me off about that level. Those like fire things come up, like the fire pillars, but they don't come up on like a regular timing. It feels like it's like a millisecond either too soon or too early, and I always end up getting hit. And the enemies in that level, there's these little enemies that throw like these giant rocks at you, and the speed at which they throw the rocks at you is also inconsistent. And so sometimes I'm like, I got this, I'm gonna jump over it, and it'll hit me before I can even jump. Hate them.
I will concede that point. Not to the point where I like didn't like that level, but I will concede that those fires that shoot out of the ground, those are like, and the thing about it is, ever since I was like the original Super Mario Brothers, where the cheeps, those levels where you're running and the cheeps are flying up and you need to outrun them. Like now I know that as long as you keep running, they won't touch you. Just keep moving. But as a kid, I was crawling along trying to get every coin, and I was like, this isn't fair. I can't tell where they're coming from. And so ever since then, I'll get mad at a game when I think it's being cheap. And I will agree that the fire coming out was cheap, but I don't know if it took me, I'm embarrassed it took me as long to get this as I did. If you'd hold, I was playing it on my, I was playing it emulated on my Super Nintendo Classic, so I was playing it with a Super Nintendo controller. But if I held the right shoulder button, which would give you like the head charge, and then jump, you would get like the running jumps. And it took me a very long time to figure that out. I think the fire level was where I was like, oh my God, I can do the running jumps. And so that I was jumping so much further and so much faster that then I was having less problems with the fire. But I will concede that it is cheaply timed. No question.
I will say one thing I do like about the fire canyon is that when you get to the point where you start the timer, it freezes everything, which opens up the level that on the way back, it's a little bit different. I do like that.
And I any level that did that was, so again, we were saying these levels are almost like a boomerang. You start out coming through like a portal in the beginning of the level, and then toward the end of like the distance of the level, you hit this blue frog timer and hurry up. I love it when it says that. And then everything gets zany and you need to run back. And you end up back at where you started the level, going back through the portal to go back out to the main pyramid world. But in some levels, when you hit that frog timer, all it does is there's these like blue frog bricks throughout some levels. And some of them will be like uncolored in, and then once you hit the frog timer, they color in, I think it's the other way, actually. I think they're colored in, they're solid, and then once you hit the frog timer, they open up, and it opens up new paths. And what it does is, instead of having to backtrack through the level you just came through, you can go through this new path that just opened when you hit the frog timer. But I agree with you. I thought one of the coolest things the game did was in some levels, like the fire level, you hit the frog timer, and the entire level changes and goes from lava to just like a frozen wasteland, and all the fire is ice now and stuff. I thought the game was at its best when it tried to do something clever like that, instead of just making you backtrack through the same old level. I loved that. I thought that was really cool.
But there's another level that, again, I don't dislike the actual level. I just dislike the design. And it's one that's like, it kind of reminds me of like, it's called Toxic Landfill, I think. And it's kind of like smoggy, and it's a lot of vertical stuff. And I'm not a big fan of that level either, because sometimes it can be kind of hard to distinguish which bricks in that level you could break and which ones you couldn't, because they looked the same.
I agree with that.
But for the most part, I think the level actually is pretty fun. I just think it's like the smoggy look is so ugly. I hate looking at it.
See, it's funny because like I agree with you that it's ugly. But, like, I'm literally looking at a picture of it right now, and I agree with you that it's ugly. But I also feel like, admittedly, this is what I was kind of expecting out of the Wario game coming in. Like, not knowing anything, I was a little shocked that so many levels were so bright and colorful and happy. It almost felt like Wario and Kirby in some of these like tropical levels. And then I'm playing this one, and I'm like, this seems like where Wario hangs out. Like a stinky factory full of garbage and toxic and fart clouds and everything. Like, this seems like where Wario belongs. So on that note, I just thought of this, but like, I'm floored at the level variety. Like,
yeah, me too. It's like, pretty crazy.
It's fucking like you're in like a rainy jungle. You're in like these nice tropical places. You're in this toxic fart cloud waste dump. You're in the fire level that becomes the ice level. There's water levels.
One level's in a fridge.
Yes. There's the haunted mansion, which I hate, but it's still a cool idea. Or the hotel or whatever the fuck it was. I will say, I hate swimming controls. And this game does swimming right, as Mario always does. But the swimming in this game is great, so I have no problem with the swimming here, which is rare, because I fucking hate swimming. Just considering that, like, listen, the GBA is great and everybody loves the GBA, but it's not the most powerful console of all time. And they really get a lot of level diversity out of what they had to work with here.
Absolutely,
which
absolutely.
I was really impressed by.
So now I
What
want to know. Now we've talked about levels that we hate. What is your favorite level of this game?
the two levels that stand out to me, number one is the rainforest jungle where it's pouring rain.
Yep, I
Like
like that one. That one's
I
good.
just because I think it looks really nice, and I just think the backtracking and stuff in that level is really really well done.
Mhm.
And then there's a level where I was about to say toward the end, but it's only because that's the order I played them in. But it was one of the last levels I played, where every room you go into, or a lot of the rooms you go into, there's these 4 boxes with like chomper mouths, and you have to find like cannonballs and throw them into all the chomper mouths to open up the gate to the next part of the level. And I
This
really
is
thought that was an ingenious little level. I liked that level.
That's my favorite level of the game by a long
Yeah,
shot. I think. I
yeah,
think that one where you're like in the pinball machine throwing the cannonballs into the
yeah.
boxes. That it's so much fun, and like I really like how they mixed it up on the way back. Whereas like you now have to do this under time constraints, and it made me really look at everything to make sure I could do it as efficiently as possible. I thought this was an excellent level design from that one.
Yeah,
I also really
that level's dope. Sorry, go ahead.
there's also one, I don't know how better to describe it other than it just looks like a level from Yoshi's Island, and that one I also think is really good. I think it's pretty short, but I remember just being like, oh, look at like the seagulls in the background and like
Yeah,
the clouds, like it's very Yoshi's Island-esque, and I think
yeah,
that's really charming.
yeah. There's a couple of levels in this game that, like you said, it's you'd swear you're playing like Kirby or Yoshi, except you've
Totally.
got angry Wario fucking running through it instead. And then other levels, yeah, you're in like the toxic waste dump level or whatever.
Yeah.
My favorite levels too, by and large, were the levels that relied on some puzzles, and like none of the
I
puzzles in this
agree.
game are too crazy. You know what the puzzles? Oh, sorry. One thing I wanted to rant about just quickly. Well, I do love that level where you need to throw the cannon pinball things into the mouths. That level,
Mhm.
dude, the control. Most of the time I think the controls are very good, but when you're carrying something to throw it, if you literally come within like 5 pixels of anything, you will drop what you're carrying. And there's the occasional instance where I was getting so angry because there's one part where the 4 pinballs, or there's what you have to find the pinballs in some of the levels. And in one of them, there's a pinball that's up on like a ledge, and then there's a bunch of breakable bricks in front of it. So you need to go find another ball, come over there and throw that ball into the bricks above you to knock the bricks out so you can butt slam the ground and work the ball across the ground to fall down till you can get it. And I'm trying to throw this ball up there into these bricks to break them to open up the path to the other ball. But every time I jump up on this platform, I must just barely be touching the wall or something. And Wario must have the butteriest fingers that I've ever seen. And I'm like, just hold on to the ball for 3 fucking seconds. Whoa, do you know, same as like when you're in the bonus levels. I want to get into that now. Some of the secret areas where you have that little professor guy that you can throw around like a ball.
Oh,
And I thought
I did so little of this, but like I
me
did
too.
encounter it, but I did so little of it.
Yeah, I did a couple of them and then realized all it is you're getting more jewels that just add to your high score. So if you're playing for a high score, I could see the merit. But solving some of the puzzles in those rooms were really neat. Those are some of the cleverest puzzles in the game. But again, you pick up this little old man and you're going to throw him around, and God help you if you come within a few pixels of a wall, because you're going to fucking drop him over and over and over again. Oh my God. I was like, dude, this man, for anyone that's have you seen The Replacements, the football movie?
No, I can't. I don't think I've seen that.
Okay, for anyone listening that has, Wario is Clifford Franklin. Like he's a receiver that can't catch a football. Like Wario cannot hold on to fucking anything. It drives me up the wall. So I had to get that. Felt good. But
Another
I like the
yeah.
puzzle levels though. That's all.
Going
the
back,
point.
like the way I felt playing this game was that like each world had like these 2 levels at the beginning that was like a short platformer level that felt like a Mario game or a Yoshi game or a Kirby
Yeah.
game, and then the second one's like it's a bit longer, but it's the same sort of thing. When you get into the third and fourth, they almost feel like 2D versions of Zelda dungeons where you actually really do have to take a lot of looking around, and like you have to traverse from point A to point B, sometimes back to point A, just to make
Yeah.
sure that you get everything.
Yeah.
One thing
They open up
yeah.
big time. Sorry.
One thing too that I want to just like throw out there before we move on from the pinball level, because the pinball level also did something that I loved and had me absolutely howling laughing. And that is that every pinball machine that you go into, because I think you go into like 5 or 6 in that level, has like their own specific like design to it, like a pinball machine would. And I think it's really cool. But one of them is like a forest theme, and around in the background you can see like these vaguely sexy photos of Bigfoot that I just think are so funny. I'm just howling at the vaguely sexy pictures of Bigfoot.
I don't think I noticed that. What? I would have to look that up. I don't think I noticed
Yeah.
that. That's phenomenal. I mean,
I'll send you a
Bigfoot is
photo
sexy.
right after.
Yeah, Bigfoot is kind of sexy, so that's fair.
Yeah.
Shaylee's right
Well,
across
I
the
did-
hall, and she just looked at me like, "What the fuck?" I'm sorry.
We're talking about sexy Bigfoot in
I
here.
like sexy Bigfoot. I'm sorry, but save that for a baby. Anyways.
Yeah. I also think that the last level in the game that kind of forces you to, that gives you the timer right at the beginning of like 9.5 minutes. I also think that's an awesome level. I think that level is really fun.
Yeah. I will say I liked that level too. I liked the timer right out of the gate. I liked the way the background and stuff looked, and that segues into the one note I had that we hadn't talked on yet was some of the powers that Wario gets in this game, and in that final level, it calls back to like all of them. And like throughout the level, you're picking up all these different powers. So if you haven't played it, there are some enemies that don't impact you at all, but you just fight them and you move on. But there's some enemies, there's like hornets or bees or whatever they are, and they sting you. And that's my favorite one. And then Wario's head gets huge, and he's got this dangly little body like floating down underneath it. And you float up in the air until you hit a ceiling of some kind, and then he deflates and falls back down. And I've always remember in Super Mario World when you get the pea balloon and Wario gets all like constipated, and then I always just said that he like farts and he lets all the air out and he falls down. I've always found it funny when a character like blows up big and floats up in the air like that. And I think the sprite of Wario holding onto his face with this look of concern because he just got stung by this bee as he's floating away, it makes the like 8-year-old me laugh every time I see it. That was easily my favorite sprite in the bunch. I thought it was so good.
I'd agree,
but there's a whole bunch.
with that.
Yeah, there's there's the you can get hammered by the enemy and then you turn into like a spring. And that was what I'm talking about. That was the one that I struggled with because you have to hit jump kind of as he's compacting on the ground, and then he'll spring up in the air. And
but it doesn't work all the time.
No, and that was the one where I would get frustrated because if you don't hit that jump in 6 or 7 bounces, then he just comes out of spring form and goes back to normal. And sometimes I'd have a hard time getting the timing down to make him jump up in the air like that. And I'm glad it wasn't just me. I'm glad you struggled with it too. It wasn't just me.
So I did struggle with this. And what I struggled with even more, I'm going to do some spoilers for the last boss, is that at the last boss, there's a part where the last boss has to throws a hammer down. And what you're supposed to do is throw the hammer in the air, have it come down and hit you in the head, which it didn't work most of the time. And then launch into the final boss, which again was also inconsistent. So sometimes I'd be like smashing A, trying to get the timing right. I finally get the timing right. I wasn't directly below the boss. Now I got to do the whole fucking thing again.
Yeah, I had to Google that because I could not figure out what I was supposed to do with this fucking, because like the boss throws like a spiky hammer up in the air, and then it lands on the ground, and then it gets stuck in the ground, but the spikes disappear. And so I'm thinking like, oh, okay, I just have to go over, pick up the hammer, and throw it up and back at the boss. And then I go and pick up the hammer, and I'm like, perfect. I charge it up, I throw it up in the air, and then it just bounces off the boss. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? And like, now I get it. They're like, yeah, it makes sense. The hammer comes down, hits you on the head. You turn into Springy Mario or Wario when you hit him. But I was just like, what person doesn't instantly think I pick up this hammer and throw it in the air and it hits the boss in the head? Like, of course that's what you're supposed to do. But no, you're not.
At no other point in the game do you personally pick up a hammer, throw it in the air, and have it hit you in the head.
Exactly.
At no other point.
And while you're fighting that final boss in other forms, like the green slime ball thing that's bouncing around, that's literally what you have to do is you drop it, you knock it down, pick it up, and you throw it up in the air and hit the boss in the head. So why wouldn't I assume that I need to pick the hammer up and throw it at the boss's head? Not throw it up in the air and let it hit me. Fuck you.
This is just a random note, but like every time she threw like that little green monster that would kind of like weigh from side to side, I always thought like that just looks like green Ultros from Final Fantasy VI.
It's totally. I thought that as well. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Ultros. I love that guy.
We love Ultros. We support Ultros on this show.
He's the Ziggy of Final Fantasy villains. Like, will he ever win? And the answer is no. But
no.
But yeah. So there's another power you get that I actually thought was pretty cool is the bats that sting
Oh,
you or they bite you or whatever, and then you turn into like a vampire bat, and then you can fly around, but you can't touch the lights in the background.
I did
I
find
love
some of
that.
the light puzzles frustrating, but I did think it was like a cool thing. And every time I touched a light, I was like, well, I know it's my own fault, but
Yeah, there, dude. The like everyone listening to this has probably played a game where the hitboxes are bullshit. Either they're way too big or way too small. The hitboxes are so almost obnoxiously succinct in this game that like one pixel of your Bat Wario head touches that light, and you're like, I mean, sure, but like I would challenge that. Like if this was a sport, I would be asking for a replay on this because that was pretty fucking tight.
I'm gonna need it in slow motion, please.
What else was there? Oh, there's those monkeys that throw the fruit, and if you eat
Oh
the
yeah,
fruit,
and they make
get
you
all
fat. Yeah.
yeah, you get all bloated, and then he can barely jump, but he can like smash through everything. The only beef I had with that power was I'd smash through what I needed to smash through, and then I would just kind of have to kill time until he finally digested this apple and went back to normal.
Yeah, I would just like stand there or just like jump over and over again, hoping
Yeah.
that like exerted some sort of energy.
Yeah,
There was
and
also there's also the fire one, which is pretty synonymous throughout most Wario Land games, I think.
Oh yeah, where he gets like, I love the sprites for that one too. He gets lit on fire and he's running around with that panic, and then eventually he like melts, and then he like just comes back to normal. I liked the way the fire worked with some of the puzzles, where you get lit on fire, and then there'd be a block with a fire symbol on it, and you knew you had to get Wario to that block while the fire was still on him, but you can't stop running and while you're doing it. And it's like they're not super complicated, but they took me a few practice runs to stick it. And I liked
Yeah.
that. I thought that was fun. Yeah, I like that fire one too. What
Yeah,
else
and
was there?
yeah, especially because with the fire ones, if you would hit the wall too many times, you'd be like, no, it canceled out before I got to
Yeah.
where I needed to go.
Oh, and you'd be inches from where he has to get, and then he'd fucking
Yeah.
light on fire. And I was like, you can't take being on fire for 2 extra seconds, Wario. There's the snowballs that fall from the sky or the ceiling, and then you just get caught in like a big pile of snow, and then you can push down and roll down a hill, and the snowball gets bigger and bigger. Like, really doesn't
Dude.
take a lot of skill to do, but they're really fun to play as.
In the I gotta admit, in the fridge level, it took me like 20 minutes to figure out the puzzle that had to do with the snowballs. It took me forever to figure it out. And then
Well,
when I
they're not-
figured it out, I'm like, you're dumb. You are so dumb.
But I don't think they're as obvious as, because like most of the other abilities you get from enemies, and this is just snow falling from the ceiling. It's not like there's like a snow like in a, oh fuck those enemies that blow the ice cold air at you and freeze you and blow you back
Oh.
until you hit a rock. Doesn't even hurt you. It just inconveniences you. I hate those guys.
There's one in that, I think it's either in that level or it's on the way back in the fire level, where he's down like a corridor, and like, but the corridor is clearly like three points high, and Wario is 1 point high or 2 points high. And so if you try to jump over it, it's just going to clip your bottom half. And
Yeah.
so I just kept getting pushed back to the beginning of this hallway over and over again. Timer's ticking down. I'm pissed off.
Yeah, those ice guys drive me fucking bananas. Trying to think. I know there was one other power that I wanted to bring up. What the fuck was it? And now it's escaping me. We did the bat, we did the sting, we did the fat Wario, the snowball, the spring,
The ice.
fire.
The
fuck
one
was
where there's one where you can get squished. And you can get
Yes.
squished and become like a pancake guy.
Yeah, which was, again, you didn't use it very often, but it was neat when it came up. I thought it was cool.
Mhm.
I liked all the animations of them. Like it's just like it's they found a way to do like the Kirby thing where he like inhales enemies and gets powers, but they did it in a way where they're not ripping off Kirby, because you're not inhaling anybody. This is just what the enemies do to you. And like
Mhm.
they're the ghosts that turn you into like zombie Wario.
Oh, the zombie. Yeah. The zombie one is used a ton in Wario
Yeah.
Land 3, and I found it pretty underused here. Like,
Yeah,
I felt
'cause
like there wasn't enough.
all it really does is you turn into like, he looks awesome. Like zombie Wario looks fucking sick, but you can fall through platforms because you just turn into a hat basically, and the hat just flutters down through platforms, and then you turn back into zombie Wario. After the bee sting, I thought that was the coolest looking animation, but you're right, it wasn't used very much. That was a minor thing because there's only 18 levels in the game, I guess, if you count the beginning and the end. 16, 17 levels, and there's like 8 or 9 powers, so it's not like you could use them a ton. Like they need to rotate them all in and out. But there's a couple that I was like, you could have probably dropped like that. Let's like the squished flat power looks neat, but like it's really not necessary.
Yeah, and I would say I'd say half of these are kind of like are kind of pullovers from Wario Land 3, but they did like double the amount of power-ups in this game from Wario Land 3, which I think is awesome.
I'm gonna have to play that one now. I'm a
Man,
Wario fan. I've said it before, and I just want to make sure everybody out there knows that like that's my for anyone maybe that's new to the podcast, don't think that I'm like getting all high and mighty, but like go back and listen to these old episodes. Like I have willed so many games and I have brought up so many games that have then become a reality. And we're all like, holy fuck. The latest one being F-Zero 99, which I called to the name for years. And then it happened. And I was like, I can't believe this. So I want all of you to know that Wario is my new focus. I will not rest until we get a new Wario game. God damn it. That's not Wario.
I want to derail for like a half second here just because I need to grab your opinion on something. You said that you willed F-Zero 99 into existence. I assume that means you've played some F-Zero 99.
Oh, I sure have, yeah.
What do you think?
I really, really like it, but I can't win. I bet you I have more top 5 finishes without a win than anyone on this planet. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous.
I played it like the full afternoon the day it came out, and I was just like, I think this sucks, but I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb.
No, I don't think it's for everybody. Like, I think Tetris 99, like, I think you can recommend Tetris 99 to practically anybody because everyone can play Tetris, but with the caveat of, like, if you're not really good at Tetris, I can almost guarantee you're not going to win.
I don't think I've ever gotten in top 20 on Tetris 99.
Right. Like, it'll destroy you. Pac-Man 99,
I still play it a lot, but no.
Yeah, Pac-Man 99 was cool, but it got old. Mario 35 I thought was a really great idea, but I was disappointed that they didn't roll out more levels, and then Nintendo just took it away because they hate us.
I played that game every day that it was available.
I'm shocked that they took it down. I'm shocked that they took it away.
Insane.
F-Zero 99, I love it, but I love the Super Nintendo F-Zero. But I think it's same thing as Tetris. Like you simply cannot luck your way into a win. Like you and the players that are playing have gotten really good. And it needed new tracks badly, and they just dropped the whole second batch. And thank fuck. Because I think just the exhibition races get old really quickly. But when they open up the hard tracks as limited time events, or when they open up the mini prees or the grand prees as the limited time events, that's the secret sauce. Like that's where the game gets fun. But I still like Tetris 99 better, but I am enjoying it. And I'm just happy that we have something F-Zero because it's been a long time. We've been waiting a long time, Bradley.
My theory is, and we'll get back to Wario in a second, but my theory is that F-Zero 99 only exists because they're probably in the early stages of developing the next Mario Kart game, and they're like, Battle Royales are popular. Let's see if we can get this into Mario Kart. And they're testing it with F-Zero 99.
I do think Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart 9 will be a launch title for their next system whenever the next system comes out. And
then I'll get it day one.
Yeah, me too. And I think there'll be a Battle Royale mode in it. Yeah, I do think that. Yeah. So
that
Battle Royales are just, they're printing money now. For the record, because I've been asked this so many times, the next 99 I want is Dr. Mario.
Ooh, that would be good.
Dr. Mario
I personally do not want to speak to the amount of real world money I've put into Fortnite, but I just would rather not,
No, I get it. Fair enough. Getting back to Wario though, like I feel like I don't really have much else to say. We've talked about most of the levels. We talked about the powers. The graphics are great. The music is really good too. Music was really good.
Bosses could have been better, but like for the most part, like pretty decent. I just wish they didn't have timers.
Yeah. And then just quickly, if you haven't played it, there are these 3 mini games that you can play right before the boss. And you use the money you pick up throughout the levels to buy plays of the mini games. And then the better you do the mini games, the more frog coins you unlock that you can then use to buy items that take health off of the bosses. And the only reason all that matters is because when you fight the bosses, there are treasure chests in the background and you're on a timer. And as the timer ticks away, those treasure chests start opening up and floating away. And the ending of the game you get is based on how many of those treasure chests you manage to collect by beating the bosses fast enough.
Oh, really quickly, can we talk the ending? Because I want to know if A, you got a different ending than me, and B, I want to talk about my ending because I was absolutely floored. I had no idea what the hell was going on in my ending.
Yeah, so like the thing about it is it's a GBA game, so like I'm assuming most of the story is explained in the manual. and I didn't
Yeah.
have the manual. So I did look up the storyline on the Wikipedia page. And basically, Wario sees there's this like pyramid in the jungle. He finds about it in the newspaper, and there was like a princess that was in the pyramid that was cursed. So he goes to the pyramid for treasure. He finds a black cat, and then he goes through the jungle or the pyramid. He ends up defeating the Golden Diva, who's the final boss of the game. And then he finds out, spoilers, that the cat was the princess. And then what happens to the princess depends on how much treasure you got. So she'll
Okay,
like turn into one of a few different things.
Mine turned into a Wario looking princess, so I think
What?
I maybe didn't get. Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that. I got the one where
It's pretty crazy.
so I looked it up. There's a ending where she turns into like a child, a female Wario, a Princess Peach like princess, or else like a superhero. And I got the Princess Peach princess.
I definitely got the Wario looking princess, which means to me, if I was a betting man, it means that I only got 7 of the 16 treasures, I think.
Oh, okay. I think I got like 14 or something. So,
But,
that's
yeah.
funny. I want to see what the female Wario looks like. Like, was it?
It's very funny because like they show the sprite and then there's like an actual like maybe not hand animate or hand drawn, but like a drawn picture of her kissing Wario and Wario being like, ah.
Oh,
But what really confused me happened after the credits. And after the credits, they were like, later that day. And I'm like, all right, cool. We're in. We're about to see some stuff.
yeah.
And then
Post-credit scene.
I saw Wario hit the cat with his car, and then the cat went to an all-you-can-eat steak place and went, oh my god, all-you-can-eat steak, and then it said the end. And I was like,
I got that too.
what
But
is going on?
I guess what Wikipedia is saying is that Wario celebrated by going to an all-you-can-eat steak place. But I didn't understand that. I don't. Yeah, I didn't understand that either. I was like, I'm down for all you can eat steak, but I don't know what the fuck is going on here. But I did like the ending scene though, where Wario's like just driving through the desert with this giant sack of money over his shoulder and is like in his convertible, and the music's. I liked that a lot. So
did you get? It was showing me like my treasures, and I didn't really look at them, but one of them was like a golden GBA, and I loved that.
Yes, I got that one too. Yeah, I thought that was dope. So. Cool game, man. I got to play more of these Wario games now. I'm a fan. Wario's awesome. What a great character.
I'm a big Wario Land guy. I should go back and play 2 because I've never played that. I have played the Virtual Boy one though, and that one also shreds. It's really good.
Really? I've never played anything on the Virtual Boy before.
Okay. Well, you know, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Nintendo can sue me if they want. I use my Super Nintendo Classic to emulate Virtual Boy games because it's the only way to play them, and it's a way better way to play them than duct taping a VR headset to your face.
Oh, fuck the Virtual Boy. I remember when that thing came out, and I remember seeing it in magazines and stuff, and I was like, and I loved everything Nintendo did back then, and I was like, I don't really want this thing. It just looks stupid, and it was. But
nobody liked it. Very bad.
But I do want more Wario, man. He's such a great. I remember vividly when Wario premiered because it was in Super Mario Land 2. The 6 golden coins, and Wario was the enemy, and that was like his premiere, and he was like an evil Mario. And I thought, as a Spider-Man and Venom fan, I was like, this is like the Venom of Mario. This is awesome. But I love that this guy has kind of over the years transitioned from a straight up villain to Mario to kind of comic relief with Waluigi in the sports games to almost like he's the anti-hero of Nintendo now. And he's so cool, and I love you. I'm not good with him in Smash Brothers, but I love using him in Smash with the motorcycle and the way he farts and everything. Like, he's just a really charming. Well, I don't know if I describe Wario as charming, but he's a really entertaining character, and he deserves more love. Damn it!
If Nintendo announced tomorrow that they were making a Wario Land spinoff starring Waluigi, it could be $90. I'd pay it.
Yeah, like even just give us a new. I've always said, like, give us a new platformer with Wario and Waluigi, dude. Drop DLC for like Mario Brothers Wonder where you can play as Wario and Waluigi.
Oh,
like
please.
Something. Just let us play as these two guys. Like,
it would be so easy.
The entire Nintendo internet world has been like, put Waluigi in Smash. Like, do something with these guys. Just give us I don't even care if they play differently. Just give us a skin in the voice and I'm happy. Like, something.
It's been 15 years since we had a Wario Land game.
Yeah.
Nintendo,
Like maybe,
come on.
no wonder he's got the fucking nose of a guy that drinks too much. He's probably depressed because he never gets to do anything.
Probably
Like,
is drinking.
Yeah, fucking you. Like, no wonder he's angry. Put him in some games and maybe fucking calm down. So, anyways, good shit. You ready to wrap this up? That was fun. I like this game.
Hell yeah. How we scoring this
Okay.
bad boy?
Hang on a second. How many years did you say it's been since we got into one of his
15.
games? Jesus,
15
Christ.
years.
Then that's what we're gonna score it on. Let's do 15 years. I know we're about to get like a new. We're not counting the WarioWares and the Shake It's or whatever those ones. We're counting the Wario Land games. So,
Which also,
go ahead.
right before I played this, I was on a flight last week, and I was like, I want to play through something quick on a flight. I played through WarioWare, which is on the GBA Online, and you know what? That's also a great game. It's not as good as this, but it's also a great game.
No, I like the WarioWare games are fun. I just want a new platforming game. Like if
I'll
you never played them,
play WarioWare.
Yeah, the WarioWare is like these weird little puzzle games. They're neat. For the record, too, if you're like, man, where can I play this Wario Land 4? The answer is fucking nowhere. I think it's still available on the Wii U eShop, if that's even open anymore. I don't know. But
it's not. It's got to be coming to Switch Online. I was almost surprised. It wasn't in the launch lineup because it is a launch GBA game.
Yeah, I would be shocked if this doesn't end up on the Switch at some point. It has to. It has to.
Give me it. I want it so bad. Oh, well, I mean, at this point, I could probably go a couple of years now. I've just played it.
Yeah, I've had my fill, but still, it should be on there now.
Talked yourself out of a sale that is for a game that you put onto a free service that I get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so we're scoring it out of 15. So Bradley, out of 15 years with no Wario, it's a depressing scale.
Out of 15 years with no Wario Land games, there are things that I really like about this game, but there was some stuff that I found that was like a little annoying, and I don't want people to come at me for using this word, but there was some stuff that I felt was a little cheap at times. I'll give this a solid 11 out of 15 years without Wario Land.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'll go 12. I should be told if the bosses didn't piss me off, I'd probably be up and around the 14 mark because I really enjoyed it. It was short, it was sweet, it was charming. I could see the replay value of it when you're a kid because find all the CDs or play it on the hard modes or go for higher scores. I can see all of it, but the fucking bosses really, really burned my ass. So I'm gonna go with 12, but before everyone gets mad, that's pretty good. It's like a B. Yeah. It's a solid B game. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's like an 80. It's an 80%. I think that's decent.
Yeah.
I think this is a really fun game. Yeah.
Yeah, 80% is better than any fucking grade I ever got. So good for you, Wario Land. Bradley, it was great talking to you. Those hours flew by. If people want more Bradley shenanigans without stalking you, where can they go?
Well, I mean, if they want to head over to Instagram, they can go to The Gaming Odyssey. I really just post what I'm up to and what games I'm playing and stuff there. Nothing too crazy. But if you're looking to find me, The Gaming Odyssey on Instagram is the best place to go.
Superb. Check them out. There'll be a link in the description of this podcast. And that is all she wrote. Bradley, I am about 4 hours away from playing poker and losing all my money. So if by some fluke I have to bet Remember the Game tonight in a pot and lose the show and this is the last episode, this was a good one. Thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Bradley, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking some Wario Land 4, and to every single one of your nerds listening to this. Whether this was your first Remember the Game, maybe your 267th. I don't know. It could be any number. Who knows? Thank you for giving us a shot. I know there's a lot of retro gaming shows out there, and we sure appreciate your support. And if you liked this, hey, maybe leave us a nice review. They feel good. They make me feel good. I look at them at night while I'm in the tub. And apparently they help the show. I'm not sure how, but apparently they help the show. So leave us a nice review if you would. And if you want more of these, I got you. Patreon.com/Remember the Game. Literally hundreds. We're coming up on 500 episodes over there. All ad-free waiting for you right there on your phone. Starting at as little as $3 a month. Patreon.com/Remember the Game. You also get a ton of other perks, like access to our almost 2,000 member Discord, or 1,000. I don't know how many. It's over 1,000 anyway. You can write into the show. You can write into me. You get discounts on your merch. All kinds of good stuff. Patreon.com/Remember the Game. I'm also over on Twitch. whenever I have time. Twitch.tv/remember the game. I never beg for subs or anything. Just come by. It's free. You can hang out. We'll be friends. Also, I'm super stoked to announce, like I said at the beginning of the show, November 3rd to November 4th will be my 4th annual 24-hour stream to raise money for the Stollery Children's Hospital. More details are coming in the next week or so. I have a P.O. box. You can find that at rememberthegamepodcast.com. Just send me a postcard or a letter. Let me know where you're listening. I'll send you one back. We'll be friends. I think that's it. Oh yeah, check out Bradley. His Instagram handle's in the description of this. Tell him I sent you. He'd appreciate that. It'd be really cool. I think that's it. I think we're good. I think we're going to end it right there. That was a good episode. That was fun. We'll be back next week, everybody, with Remember the Game 268, which, if nothing goes wrong, will be about Mega Man Legends on the PS1, which should be a fun episode. And for all our patrons, I'll be back tomorrow with Expansion Pass 181, where we'll be talking about the scariest games that are stuck on our backlog. Should be fun. All right? Take it easy, everybody. I'm going to thank some patrons and leave. Talk to you on the next one. Goodbye. Hurry up. As they say in Wario Land 4. Hurry up. I should have... that's way better. See ya. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I turn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I am contractually obligated to thank them as quickly as possible. So a huge thank you to Makeshift Mellow Magic Buddy, Joe Buck, Sharonik, Andre, The Keegs, James Clark, Dave McGee, Dan of DNA Gaming, Slick Rick, Doug Dorn, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan Fraser Burns, Lil Bunny, Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, Nathan Tremblay, A-Town, Morgan Zane, Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang, Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Titan 420s, Uncle 504, Jeff Bergeron, Captain Ed Daniel, John Woodruff, Randy Barrett, Just a Fish, Lever Trahey, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Ballsack Teabagger, Frosty F492, Triple, Chugger 22, Elijah Burns, It's That Nerd James, Ray San Wantonga, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dalk, Mizuru, Juris Dr. Mario, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Eric James, Nick Amos, Jake Carter, Thomas Childs, Biddy, Laces Out Dan, Beaver Boy, C-Spin, Thomas Smith, Nicola, Leroy Westrich, Sean Ramos, Matt Babineau, Gabe, Dan Fusselman, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon who's not a surgeon, Rowe, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Earl, Hegel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Esteban Navarro, K-Atch, Jimothy, Chris Williams, Oroku Saki's Gardner, Cody Richardson, General Fury, Dem Boys on the Roof, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Franklin Badge, Drugs and Venom, K, Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Nerdy Hybrid, The Fletchman, Colin Bollinger, Sleeper Hit, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Brian Neese, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Radioactive Man, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, John M. Watkins, Timothy Sabrinsky, Beef Dingleberry, Hitchy Poo, Len, Ian, damn it, Ian, Bulma Simp, Chevy Boy 9211, Burt Macklin, Quiet Place Queen, Cam Nelly 23, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Bobby Litton, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Knife Goes in Guts Come Out, AB Killen, Works for Me, Dakota Guy, Alexander Camps, Neil Cooper, Tom Houlihan, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, It's the Bigfoot, Lucas Valadez, Itchy Nutsuru, Mr. Papa Giorgio, Just Car Prank, Solomon Soto, Darth Skywalter, Postman, WestGen, Nick Creature, Adam Martinet, AFE, The Big Deal, Dr. Nightmare 23, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Turtle the Exuberant, Timmy, Beers of War, Because 19, Digital Dave, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Longrod Von Hugendon II, Roger Staubach's Pool Cleaner, Frosty Bear, I don't get that, but I'm assuming it's funny. Frosty Bear, Max Sandin, Sour Goatface, Alex Ramos, Faded Sufferance, Benjamin Atkins, Daniel Fallon, Chris Hill, Mellow Yellow 8787, B Money, Hired Goons, who? It's OG, Tyler Bauer, Fallen Snow Kiku, The Supreme Chozorizo, E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, That One Kid Josh, Raging Irish, Atrio Wormwood, Shoeboxers, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jake Callahan, Robbie Air, Guy Who Does Things, Saban, Brian Richmond, Blobby Rogers, Glue Scappin, Bula, Adam Blank's Evil Twin, Matt Zeus, Buy Me Bone Storm, Plow Carrying, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth With Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, Uncanny, Elephant Cat, Scissor Fist, Big Daddy Randall, Ryan Wick, Combe, Flinny, 123, Austin from Past to Present Player Podcast, Lord Stay Puff, Johnny Zubu 81, AJ McCurgy, Lotus, Philip Ramsey, Nothing Could Possibly Go Wrong, Alex McIntyre, S, Bearded Bastard, Adam Blank Loves Mario Is Missing, Eric Hopewell, Clockwork, Orange These Nuts, Andrew Rodman, Chorizo Nino, David Schroeder, Theodore Phillip, Forsaken Hero, Diablo Spartan, Justin Blair, Wilco, and VOS Ranger. That was not the worst I've ever done. I'm not sure if that's VOS Ranger or Boss Ranger. Oh, and it's Ranger, not Ranger. Whatever. It was good until the last one. Take it easy, everybody. Cheers.